It began on what should have been a simple Friday evening. The kind of night where nothing extraordinary was meant to happen. Dinner simmering quietly, soft music drifting through the rooms, the familiar comfort of home. Yet something felt off, an unease in the air I couldn't shake. Sarah sat in the living room, phone in hand, her fingers moving quickly over the screen, a laugh escaping her lips. But the laughter wasn't real, it stopped short of her eyes. When I asked her about it, she dismissed my concern with a light shrug, saying, "I was just flirting, Ethan. It's innocent. Nothing serious." Her words should have calmed me, but instead they burrowed under my skin. They sparked something sharp in my chest, a cold knot that refused to loosen. I wanted to believe her, so I told myself to laugh it off, to let it go. Innocent flirting. I repeated it in my mind, as though saying it enough times would make it true. But it never sounded right. It sounded like a warning I was trying too hard to ignore. Over the next several days, the change in her was impossible to overlook. Secretive messages, whispered phone calls when she thought I wasn't listening, little smiles that didn't belong to me. Each time I questioned it, she repeated the same excuse. It was harmless, just a bit of fun, nothing I should worry about. But deep down I already knew better. I had trusted her for years, and if there's one thing I've learned, it's that instinct rarely lies. One night, after the kids were tucked into bed, I finally confronted her. I tried to keep my tone calm, steady, rational. "Sarah," I told her, "this isn't just harmless anymore. You're lying to me. I can feel it." She widened her eyes, gave me a nervous laugh, and brushed off my concern as if I were being unreasonable. "Ethan, I told you it's nothing. Just innocent flirting. You're overthinking this." But her voice carried a defensive edge, and her gaze refused to stay with mine. That told me more than her words ever could. I said nothing more, just let the silence settle between us. On the surface, I stayed composed, but inside, something was unraveling. Every memory we had shared, every moment of tenderness we had built together, now carried shadows. What she called innocent was rotting everything we had created. The breaking point came on an afternoon I'll never forget. It was Thursday, and I'd left work earlier than usual, a strange pull urging me home before heading to pick up the kids from practice. The house was quiet, the air conditioner humming faintly in the background. And that's when I saw them, Sarah and another man, laughing too close, standing too near, touching in ways that told me everything I'd been denying. In that moment, the world slowed. Every excuse she'd ever given, every soft reassurance, shattered in front of me. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't break down. I simply stood there, frozen, watching the truth unfold before my eyes. When she finally saw me, her smile faltered, panic flickering across her face. That single look confirmed everything I had feared. "Ethan," she began, but I stopped her cold. "No, Sarah. Don't. Just don't." She reached for me with a trembling hand, but I stepped back. That distance wasn't only physical, it was everything. The man who had once trusted her without question was gone. My voice came out quiet but steady. "I trusted you. And you lied. You called it innocent, but it wasn't. It never was." For a second I thought she might cry, but she didn't. Instead, she lowered her eyes, unable to face me. Her voice fell to a whisper. "I didn't mean for it to happen. I don't know. It was fun. Harmless. Just a little attention." The words stung like poison. Fun. Harmless. That's how she justified it. But there was nothing harmless about betrayal. "You've crossed a line you can't come back from," I told her. "Every touch, every lie, every excuse, you've broken something that can't be repaired." Her shoulders sagged under the weight of her own guilt, and for the first time, I saw the reality of it settle on her. But it didn't matter anymore. This wasn't just about that one afternoon. It was the slow erosion of trust over weeks, months, maybe even years. She had chosen to gamble with what we had, thinking she could keep both her illusions and her security. And then she made the mistake that erased any shred of doubt. She said his name, the man she had been calling just innocent fun. Hearing it out loud struck me harder than any scream could have. That single word unraveled everything. Every lie collapsed into one undeniable truth. I didn't argue. I didn't demand explanations. I didn't beg her to stop. I simply turned and walked out, leaving her to sit inside the wreckage she had created. I drove for hours, aimless, my mind cycling through every memory, every red flag, every excuse I had accepted. With each passing mile, clarity grew. I deserved more than this. I wouldn't let her lies define me or the rest of my life. The following day, I returned. Not to make amends, not to plead for her love, but to face what had to be faced. Sarah was sitting on the couch, her phone clenched tight in her hand, eyes swollen from crying or sleeplessness. She looked up when I walked in, her face heavy with hesitation. "Ethan, please," she said. "Please what?" I asked, my voice calm. "Please don't leave. Please, let's work this out. It was just a mistake. I didn't mean to hurt you." I moved past her slowly, each step deliberate. A mistake isn't a single moment, Sarah. It's a choice repeated over